Alright, this is video record of our situation here, 561 Robertson Ridge, Elkview, West Virginia, as of August 25th, 2014. Marco claims that the movement of this earth here, when it came into the house, bent these columns, as you see. As you see, they are not plumb. This one is particularly bent. This one, the first column in the series, that's a column that I put in to prevent the foundation from collapsing, which is what this one was supposed to do. This was equally bent with that one. As you can see, it is no longer the case. As you can see, the angles, the relative angle. And that is because this lost all its load. It was all the way out here, and now it is out there. And that came not from excavation. There was no excavation on this column because the first column I discovered not to have been driven to the depth that was claimed was this one. And that is sitting at least a good 12 to 14 inches, maybe more, at least 14 inches anyway, above the rock. They said that it had hit bedrock. Well, it hadn't. I don't know why. Notice how straight up and down this one is. Now Marco says that these columns went in straight and that the pressure from all of this falling in bent them. But that is not possible. And the reason why, if I move this out of the way here, is if you take a look at the one column that remains bent, you'll see that there is absolutely nothing in the way of underminement. This is firmly in the ground, and we can confirm that using a trowel. We see that this is all still very much intact here. And if we take a look, at the pipe, we see along here no seam whatsoever. What I'm getting at is that if you take a look here on this pipe, you'll see, where am I talking? Right here, there is a seam where the foot, this foot, is attached to this pipe. And that's at least 3 inches deep. And yet there's no sign of the seam. So that is at least 3 inches into the soapstone foundation, or at least I was told that there was soapstone. And that soapstone is dry. As you can see, this is what was taken yesterday. It is completely dry. Gotta get a focus here. Alright, so this is dry. This is, it's firm. It's not crumbling away. And besides the fact that I was here and I witnessed this go in, and this was excavated down to about this level. So you go, and I'm just estimating here, you go from the top of the bracket down about 2.5 feet, because the trench that they dug in order to put this in was total of about 3.5 to 4 feet deep. So it came down to about here, and as you can see, the bend starts almost immediately, right there at the seam of the first pipe. And it's right there. And in fact, I'm not sure, but if you can see it here, but the entire thing is bent, even in the bracket. The bracket is almost plumb, and yet the pipe sticks this way in the bracket because there's wiggle room up here. There's clearance between the pipe and this round portion of the bracket. This is still rock solid. It's not even close. And were we to excavate this, which I am not going to do, if somebody else wants to do it, who's qualified to do it, they're welcome. I'm sure you will find that that this is several layers down, in several inches down, at least 3 to 4 inches down into that good firm bedrock, as it were. It's I've heard it called soapstone. Here we have a little bit. I'm trying to give an idea here as I scrape. Right, see, we're right next to the column. We're about a foot away, maybe 14 inches away. And if I scrape, now this is the mud that I've excavated from up here that came down during the rain, and that I was tramping around in my boots. It got clogged and then got stuck onto the ground. But if I scrape this away, notice that this stuff is hard as a rock. It is, well, I mean, they call it soapstone. It's obviously sedimentary of some sort. It's not like granite or something, but it's basically dry. I mean, there's a little dampness in it, but not a whole lot. That's a footing that I poured for another makeshift emergency column to make sure that, because Marco is saying that this column, the one that is still buried, could fail at any minute and come crashing down on me and kill me. Well, I don't know. I'm not convinced. Here is the fourth column that they put in. As you can see, maybe you can see, that this is very nearly plumb. And in fact, it is out of plumb, but it is sticking out the other way. It is